Alright guys, well, I'm down here. I'm just going to cut some wood up here. I've got some wood down and I've had down for a little while. I'm going to cut it and cut it up into manageable pieces, take it up top. Like I said, I got to clear I want to clear part of my little stream up here that's got some trees down in it, because I got an idea, and what I'm thinking of doing is damming up a part of my little spring here, which is all on my property. It starts on my property, ends on my property, sort of thing. So not really affecting any creek systems or anything like that. You know, it eventually goes back underground just down here, and then runs into another spring or creek or something like that. So I'm thinking about damming it up and putting some native fish in there from the other side of the creek, and just trying to have this as a more secluded little spot. Put some crawfish in there, some creek chubs, creek chubs, and Tennessee dace. I think they're dace or dacey or whatever you want to call them, but they look like little trout fingerling. They're really cool little fish. But the chub, I've got a chub in my fish tank at the moment, and it's probably about 10 inches long, and supposedly if you smoke them or cook them over a fire, they actually taste pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna just see if I can get another little food source happening, on the property. It's just a way to keep the natural food forest, I guess is the best way to describe it. I think that's it. I think it's the way of the future. I think a lot of people are going to start doing it, more. They're going to have to start going back to our roots. I think you can see the supply chain is broken down a little. Without politics or anything like that involved, I don't see it as an extremely bad thing that our reliance on other countries is reducing a little. It makes us realize that we're not this indestructible race of people that can just put your hand out and next day it's there, or in a couple of hours it's there. We've sort of turned into the generation of, and I put generation as in everyone that's alive now. We've become this now generation of, we put our hand out or we make an order online and bang, it's at our door the next day or in a couple of hours, depending on where you live. And it might be good for people to actually realize, hey, our food comes from a lot of places. Our food's not locally grown anymore. Our food is, the United States has a pantry, which is the world. A lot of produce comes from California. When California's having a drought, it impacts the prices over here. When South America has problems, like we've seen in the past couple of years, with problems in South America and California being locked down and all these places, it strangled our system. And I think if you can do more to produce your own food, and you're still going to have some reliance, unless you really want to bite that bullet and become that, gung-ho survivalist or whatever you think. You're still going to have to go to the store for certain things, and that is what it is. But that's my thought anyway. I just want to have some really cool little system on my property, and I'm blessed to have the amount of acres I do. I think we've got about 12 acres here. I'm blessed to have it because we've got so much opportunity. We can hunt, we can grow crops with certain, within reason. The soil's not the best, but we make do. We find what works here. We've got heat source, fuel for cooking if worst case scenario, and we cook mostly on wood, so yeah, that's what I want to do. Alright, let me get stuck into this. I want to nail out and knock out this, and I can see I've got some oyster mushrooms coming up. Yeah, I've got oyster mushrooms on this one too, so on some of the poplar. So the poplar, I'm probably going to start creating another log pile. This is cool. The poplar's soaked anyway, you can't really use it for wood to burn unless I dried it out for a few weeks. I just thought I'd show you that. Look at the bend on that, and she's caught up under this beach here. It's gonna be fun. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna whoop that. I thought I'd put the camera on to show you that one. Yeah, right, Tori. Hey, here's my little boy Thor. Thor and Loki. Hey, boys. All right. I guess start with this branch. This could be interesting. That's what I was being careful of. My cousin's husband back in Australia was killed by something like that. He was cutting a tree down, a tree like this got whooped up underneath it, and he cut it, and he was in the wrong position. That thing come up and whooped him straight up under here and put a piece of wood straight up into his head. Didn't kill him instantly. He was alive when they took him to hospital, and it ended up switching the thing off. You know, he was a vegetable. So if you're out cutting wood, keep your game face on, keep switched on. Don't just get in the habit of just knocking wood down. See, I stopped when I got to there because I knew there was a problem with that, and I didn't want to be just cutting and have that thing whack up and ruin my day. Oh, I've got some wood cut down through here. I'm going to take that up. But these are the logs, these old poplar logs that have been down for a while. And you can see there's some oyster mushrooms popping. So this is telling me that the oyster mushrooms have got some potential. That's a oyster. So I'm going to stack them up on here and just keep building. So let me stick that down here and let's just move you. Put you up on there. That's some wood. Some bigger logs that don't seem to have much growth on them yet on the bottom. You got a little hook in the front of you. That won't work. Got some. There's a spider. Got some mushroom there. Let's get these ones, which have the mycelium growth and the little. They're starting to fruit. We'll stick them up top. So what, you know, like I've done up there, they'll fruit, they'll drop their spores. Hopefully, they'll inoculate here, they'll inoculate more stuff through the woods, you know, because those spores just... So, you know, I do them randomly all over the place, you know, and just, my goal is to have just a huge amount of this stuff just sitting around like this, and it'll eventually just rot and just become forest floor again, you know. But hopefully not until it's inoculated and everything, you know, it might, hopefully but anyway, that's what I'm doing. So if I come across any sort of wood down that's got some growth on it, I'll cut it and I'll stack them, and I want to fall on that. And yeah, and we'll hopefully create a little supermarket here. Hello boys. These are my 3 little boys. Thor, Loki, and Hulk. Yeah, it's superheroes. I should have called him Odin because he's only got one eye. But he's just got such an attitude, and when he gets angry, he gets an attitude about him. So I called him Hulk. That was my favourite Marvel character growing up, was the Hulk. Alright, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to cut down a heap more wood. It's a little bit humid. We've had a lot of rain in the past 48 hours, and it's pretty humid. But yeah, alright.